Well, hello there, seekers of magic. How are you doing? I'm doing much better. Thank you so much for all your kind messages. And my voice might still sound funny. Maybe you can hear me that I'm not 100% fine, but that's okay because today I thought we are taking things slow and we are doing a witchy cozy Q&A while we are crafting an enchanted fairy portal mirror is what I like to call it. And I'm really excited because I have been wanting to make one of these since I saw them on Pinterest. And also, if you like witchcraft, thrifting and astrology, tarot, all these kind of witchy things, then you can go ahead and follow me on Pinterest because I love to make my boards. I love to save pins for future inspiration. So I will link my Pinterest down below and we can connect there. Also, if you like my vibe, if you like these videos, then don't forget to do the YouTube magic and like this video, subscribe. We are nearly at 500 subscribers, which is amazing. And I have a lot of plans for this year, for this channel. So if you want to not miss out on that, then go ahead and do the YouTube magic. And yeah, with that being said, before I mess up that portion of the video, let's go ahead and I will tell you what we are doing, shall we? So I wanted to make one of these fairy mirrors since I saw them on Pinterest and I have been collecting things and a mirror, obviously, that I found for only €5, and that is an amazing find. So I feel like that was like the sign that we should do that video today, that we should do this DIY together. And basically all you need is a mirror and it should have a frame, and I'm doing close-ups so I will show you what I mean by that. But mine has this beautiful golden frame where I basically have a little bit more space. If there is no frame, it will be hard to make it look enchanted and to really put on all the things that you may want to put on that. You need a hot glue gun. And yeah, I think that's all. You can do whatever you like. You can use moss, which I think is the perfect ingredient to turn a mirror into an enchanted fairy portal. I also use dried flowers. I bought a lot of these. I also used some that I dried myself, but I ran out. So yeah, I usually tend to not buy new things, but I was running out of the ingredients, so I bought a few. You can also use feathers, which I think is amazing. I had these, I didn't buy them. I went to a Euro shop and there were these beautiful feathers, but I was I made this mistake in the past because I don't want to contribute to collecting feathers that I don't know how they are collected basically. So we had some feathers at home from the past. We also are using crystals, but yeah, that's basically all you need. You can be as creative as you want to. I have moss in different colors. I have white, green and pink and brown moss. I have, as I said, dried rose buds. I have dried flowers. I have these beautiful, I don't know how they are called, but they are really cute. Yesterday I also went to the dollar store and I found these really cute colored PVC glue sticks. I hope it's what they are called, for the hot glue gun. And I have them in different colors. I have glittery green, I have blue, I have gold, I have brown. So I hope this will kind of hide the glue a little bit better. But yeah, I hope it's doing the job, the hot glue gun today, because it's pretty old and I think it will give up soon. But for that, it should be fine. And that's basically really all you need. So yeah, if you like this idea, then again, I will link down my Pinterest down below so you can use my board as an inspiration that I made for that specific purpose. But yeah, I'm really excited how it will turn out. And as you can see, I already made a little template right here. I put anything I think it will look cute. So that's something I learned. Preparation is key, no matter if it's doing DIY, if it's sewing. It's really helpful to just lay out anything and see how it's resonating with each other, because basically I think 2 or 3 years ago I would have just started and then I would be frustrated because it didn't turn out the way I want to. But yeah, that's something I learned along my DIY and witchy journey. And that happened to me a million times, you know, when I'm waiting, like, why is the glue not coming? And I didn't put my hot glue gun into like the electricity. That's just like me, but it's on now, so we have to wait a few more seconds. So let's talk about colors. And I feel like that time I did a really good job combining colors. I feel like gold and like mossy greens, midnight blue is like a really good combination to make your home look witchy. Also like dark purple, dark reds is a really cool color to really embrace that witchy aesthetic vibe. So yeah, that's what we are going for here. And I have that dream in like the future home that there is like specific colors in like a specific room. For example, in like the living room, there is dark green with gold and like this sunny yellow. I think these will look really cool together. And yeah, that's, I think, something that you can do if you feel like doing your home, like renovating, but you may not have like a big budget. Then maybe think about using colors and like just using like the energy of colors to make your home feel cozy. I feel like when there is like a wall that is like mossy green, maybe you can paint on that if you are allowed to. I feel like that's doing a lot, even though your furniture is not how you want it to be. Because for example, for me, I really want to gradually shift to like all vintage furniture, like this brown furniture. So right now everything looks a little bit like, I don't know, mixed together. There is like no real theme to my apartment, which again is fine because I know I'm putting in all the effort once I have my future home. But yeah, I feel like that's a really good tip if you want to save money and you want to work on a budget but still make your home really cozy. And again, that DIY is like also pretty cheap. The only thing you may have to invest in is the mirror. But if you are checking your local thrift store, or like I do, I basically really just search like in my online thrift store that I always use, like things to gift, like without any payment. Then that's basically how I do it. I drive there, I pick the things up because people are happy if they are gone. I'm happy because I can pick them up. So yeah, that's basically how I thrift and save money when I'm doing these DIYs. Alright, so a question I receive a lot is book recommendations basically. And I only read fantasy books, so that is something that I love doing. I feel like when you read fantasy books, you are immersing yourself in another world, in another dimension. And I also love the quote, when you are reading, you are living 1,000 lives. I think it's something along that line. And when you are not reading, you basically only live one life. And I feel like that is so true. So I love that quote. I love fantasy books. I love immersing myself in another world, another dimension. So my favorite author is Licia Troisi. She's from Italy and I love her books. I recommend most of them, but my favorite in German it's called Die Drachenreiterin, and there's like 3 books that like belong to that series. I also really love Die Schattenkämpferin, and I will link the books down below. I already did some research and I could not find an English title, so I don't know if they are only in German, but that's basically my favorite book of all times. It's about a girl called Nihal, and Nihal is an half-elf, and she basically becomes like this really powerful girl that is flying dragons. Like if you enjoy Aragon, then you may want to check that book out if it is available in your language. But that's basically my favorite book since I was a small girl, and I remember reading that book and be so in love and fascinated with the story. I love like this hero journey. I love a good adventure where they have to do a certain quest or task. So that is something I really enjoy, I really love. I really recommend Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, and I recommended the book already a million times, but that is something I highly recommend. I also think the second part should come out in January, at least in Germany. So that's something I'm really looking forward to. But yeah, other than that, I also started reading a book series by Josephine Angelini, I think she's called, and it's called the Star-Crossed Saga, I think, and it's about a girl called Helen and a boy named Lucas, and they are basically half gods. So it deals a lot with like Greek mythology, Greek gods, all of that kind of good stuff. So that is a book I have been enjoying recently that I can recommend so far. And I also really enjoyed Once Upon a Broken Heart. I also enjoyed The Midnight Library. So that's basically the books I'm reading right now, or I have been reading. I really enjoy like Howl's Moving Castle. I feel like that's like a must for everyone. So yeah, these are the books that I can recommend. Probably after I finish that video, I will be like, damn, I have so many ideas and book recommendations. Why didn't I come up with them while I was talking? But that is okay. And I anyway want to do a video about, yeah, basically book recommendations, like fantasy or like fairy book recommendations. So if you have any, let me down in the comment section down below, because I'm also interested in kind of getting recommendations from you guys. So yeah, so that is my book recommendation. And I feel like I said that to my boyfriend yesterday, but whenever I feel like all the ideas are kind of done, like no one can come up with something new, people prove me wrong and they come up with like the coolest book ideas. So that is amazing. I'm also currently writing my own book, and my kind of vision with that book is to create a world that my inner child would have wanted to live in, like going to witch school, finding friends, I don't know, like learning witchcraft and just live in that magical fantasy world. So that's basically my vision, my goal with that book. And I don't know when it will come out, but you will be the first ones to know. But yeah, that's basically my book recommendations and my own book that I'm writing about. So let me see what the next question was. What plans do I have for that year? So basically my plans are to learn sewing like on a professional level, and I'm currently doing an online class because my grandmother was a professional sewist, and it feels like I'm tapping into her legacy now that I started to learn how to sew professionally. And I also just bought a new sewing machine to really learn and to really be able to learn kind of, yeah, what my grandmother did. So that is a goal of mine. We are going to Korea that year as well. So that is something that is like planned, or you could say it's a plan. So I really also want to study herbalism much more than what I'm doing right now. I'm even thinking to go to university, and like I'm a Virgo, I love studying, so that's not something that is stressing me out. I love to study, so I'm thinking about doing like an study degree about herbalism or like forest. I don't know how it's called in English, I will try to find it, but basically where you can teach other people about like the plants in the forest, or you can like help children, make some events for them to really learn about the plants. So that is something I would love to do. Yeah, these are, I feel like, my biggest plans. Also moving houses or like buying a house is something that I'm really dreaming about right now, but maybe more in like the longer distance future. But yeah, these are the plans that I have basically for that year: sewing, going really deep into herbalism, going to Korea, and focusing more on YouTube. Like YouTube is so much fun. I have so much fun making these videos when I'm not ill at the moment. Like right now, I feel like my voice is so weird, and yeah, even then I love making videos. I love using YouTube as my creative outlet. So I really hope I can focus full time on YouTube in like the next 1 or 2 years. That is my dream. So yeah, I hope that answered the question. So let's see what the next question is. So someone also asked how I know that I'm a witch, and I feel like I never questioned that I'm a witch. I just suppressed that I'm a witch. Like when I was younger, I had a friend and we were like these wild witches. We were running around just having fun. We were like so creative with our imagination. We were like making brooms, and I remember sitting with her like while we had a sleepover, and we were like waiting for our brooms to fly until midnight, and we were so disappointed that our brooms didn't fly. So yeah, that is something I really love to remember. We also made fairy rings. We were like making our own witches book. I don't know, we had this like really cute book for children where it described so many DIY ideas, like making a broom, making a fairy ring, making a, how to call it, a hideaway for magical items in a book or something like that. So I really loved that book. It was my favorite, and yeah, I really love remembering that time. And so I feel like I always knew that I'm a witch. I also remember us making potions in our like garden with plants and stuff. Obviously we did not drink them, but we were like so into it, making potions. We even made like a little mold garden in a jar, and we hide it, and I wonder if it was ever found. So that is really funny. Like in the garden we hide it in the bushes or like bushes and stuff. So yeah, I really remember like having a beautiful childhood, and then puberty hit. So I felt like, okay, what is going on? I'm like the only one who is like in quotes weird. Why is everyone normal? Like that's what I thought, or what you think as a kid when people start to question you, like what are you doing, or they kind of start to not talk to you because you are different. And back in the day I was like so sad because I thought something is wrong with me. So I started to hide my witchy side, and I feel like I was really intuitive. So when I thought about doing something like climbing on a tree and my stomach was like, nope girl, you're not going to, something bad will happen, I didn't do it. And I really remember feeling that intuition in my stomach, like clear as day. But that's just how life is, right? You start to learn things, you start to forget things. So I intentionally forgot about my witch, about my creativity, my intuition. And yeah, I feel like it was only 5 or 6 years ago that I really started to embrace my intuition, that I really wanted to connect back with my intuition. And that takes, like for me, it took a long time to really start embracing my intuition again, because I connected it to something that is like dangerous, like being myself is dangerous. That's why I shut down anything or like everything. And I recently started to make a chakra healing class where I really start to release these blocks. I also am a womb practitioner. Like I did a 2 years online training to help women get into their female power, to really connect back to their womb. And that is something that really helped me a lot. And yeah, that's basically how I started step by step getting back into my intuition that I suppressed. So I feel like I always knew I'm a witch, I just hide it, or like I suppressed it. And now I love it. Like I love being a witch. I love using my intuition, like my inner voice, to create a life that I love. And I feel like that's the power if you tap into witchcraft or like your intuition, that you can really start to get back into an intentional life, to create a life that you love. So yeah, that is that. I always knew I'm a witch. I feel like I never doubted it. I just started to suppress it because I felt like I'm the one that is weird, or I'm the one that is wrong. I also remember seeing something when I was like playing with my other friend, I remember playing with her in my room and we saw something standing, like when you were looking from my window, you can see a playground and like a little path that was leading into the forest. And I remember us standing there like, what is that? Like, I cannot describe it until that day. But yeah, that is just a memory that recently came back. And now when I listen to other people, I feel like so many people have these kind of experiences, but naturally you don't talk about it because you are afraid that people will kind of look weird at you, or they will say that you are a weirdo or something like that, which I think, I don't know, just do what you love, right? Like obviously you cannot just do anything, but like if you love something and someone says that's stupid, then just do you. Like if you love it, then go for it, right? So yeah, but something else I started doing, I think since 2018, is like doing a lot of shadow work. Like I have been really pushing myself to get really deep into my shadows, and I said it in another video, but basically when I did a meditation, my friend is like doing these online classes, so I was part of that, where we all women connect and we connect to our inner witch and stuff. My message was that my witch is my shadow and I have to embrace it and integrate it, and that it's not scary, that like actually my witch is full of that creativity and she's like unapologetically herself. So that's the message that I received, and I since then integrated her, and that's why I'm basically started this channel. Like I want to share her gifts, I want to share anything she has to say. So my camera died, but that's basically the story of how I always knew I'm a witch, but I just shut it down. And I feel like that most of us know that they are a witch. There is just like something we kind of block ourselves with because we had some experiences in the past where we kind of neglect that side of ours. So if you have a feeling like you are a witch or you are drawn to all the witchy stuff, then chances are high that you are a witch. And yeah, you should do some research into it, which leads to the next question, which is, do you have any tips for beginner witches? So yeah, if you are a baby witch, then I highly recommend that you see where your interests are. And my hot glue gun is going wild. So if you are a baby witch and you want to start getting into witchcraft, and I know it can be really overwhelming to get into witchcraft because there is like tarot, astrology, herbalism, there is shadow work, your book of shadows, and like history of witchcraft and palm reading, palmistry, crystals, all of that stuff, right? So what I would highly recommend is that you see what you are most interested in and you start studying like that topic. For example, let's say you are interested in the tarot, then you should start focusing on the tarot and not start with like tarot, astrology and herbalism, right? Or like even palmistry on top of that, because I did that and it's like frustrating if you want to study. Maybe you are also working a full-time job, you don't even have the time to study all day long. I feel like when you are younger and you still have more time, like that's easier. And I'm always like, why didn't I start doing XYZ much earlier when I was like a child? But that's just how it is now. But yeah, I feel like focusing on one subject is really helpful to not get overwhelmed. So that is something I would recommend. I'm a Virgo, so I always love to study more. So if you feel like you are able to study a lot and you have fun studying a lot, then I would still recommend maybe like 2 subjects, but don't be too hard on yourself. Like things will anyways come naturally. You will anyways like learn a lot along the way, even if you study maybe like 20 minutes a day or like 10 minutes a day. And then it's much easier if you have like your preferred subject to like study, then if you say like, okay, I have 10 minutes a day and I have to study astrology, herbalism, palmistry, crystals, and like how to make my book of shadows, all that stuff, right? So yeah, that is something I would highly recommend, like, to be honest, because I did like the other extreme and I was so overwhelmed after some time. Then I lost interest and I got really frustrated because I knew I wanted to like learn about it and study it, but it was just like not possible. So yeah, also if you want to start doing your spells and stuff, I would highly again recommend you choose one tool and practice your intuition with that. And what do I mean by that? Let's say you feel like you are drawn to spell jars, and by the way, I did a video for that, so if you are interested in that, you can check it out. I will link it down below. Or let's say you are interested in not magic, and I remember I made a video about like beginner friendly magic, so you can check that out as well after that video, of course. But yeah, like, what is going on? I feel like I'm in a spider web. But let's say you are really into not magic, then I would say focus on not magic. Like, start practicing not magic and start training your intuition when it comes to not magic until you see results. So let's say you make a kind of ritual and you have a not magic ritual, then I would practice until you start to see the results. Like, you want to manifest a book that you love and you made a not magic ritual for that, then I would definitely wait until you see this result, you start building up trust in yourself, and then I would start like maybe getting into another kind of magic, like again spell jar magic, or I don't know, like journaling, making your own spells, all that kind of stuff. So that is something I would recommend, because again, it can be really overwhelming if you are starting as a baby witch, as a beginner witch. And I always say that I'm basically, even though I have been doing it for a long time, I feel like I know nothing. It's like, I don't know, I'm always learning, and yeah, even now I feel like, okay, do I even know anything about witchcraft? So that's why I don't know, never talk in detail about like my knowledge, because I'm so critical with myself. Even though I know something really good, I would say like, I have no idea what I'm talking about. So Virgo, that's Virgo, I feel like. So if you are a Virgo, be kind to yourself. Let me tell you that. But yeah, that is something I can like highly recommend. And again, I will link down the videos down below that could be interesting for you to like get into witchcraft, and I definitely want to do more of these. All right, another tip I can give you, and I kind of talked about that I think before, is that you don't have to come up with your own spells if you don't want to, and you can use words that resonate with you as well. Like in books or something, you see something that is resonating with you, you can definitely go with like these words that another person is using. Of course, there are some people that say, if I make my own spells, it has much more power, which is fine. You should always do you. And I always say, make witchcraft your witchcraft. Like, don't feel like you have to do anything just because someone is telling you to. Like, really train your intuition, listen to your intuition, because that is your most powerful tool. Any like spell, any magic ritual is breaking down to intuition. Like, if you have a good intuition, or like you have a good connection, then anyway, this is like half of the rent, I would say. So that is something I can recommend, because I know that, and I'm just waiting for the glue to get liquid again. But basically what I thought is that I have to make my own spells. And then I started to, and by the way, this is also not sponsored, I just truly love that company and the subscription box. I hope they sponsor me one day, to be honest, but I love to work with like the witch casket rituals, and there is like these little spell kits inside that you can use, and they include anything you need. And whenever I read like the spells that they came up with, I'm like, that's resonating like 100%. So I'm going with that spell exactly as it is. Sometimes I'm making my own spells, but the thing is, I'm German, so my native language is German, but I study everything in English. So it's like, I don't have the knowledge to make like really powerful English spells, but it feels wrong to make them in German. So that's a weird thing that my brain decided to come up with. But yeah, that's something I can highly recommend. Of course, go for it if you want to make your own spells, definitely do them. But you don't have to, you can use, if words resonate with you, use them. I hope that helps. Like, I feel like we put so much pressure on ourselves. I don't want to always feel afraid that I'm doing something wrong. And obviously, if you have like a pure intention in witchcraft and you really like have, again, a pure intention, you only mean good for like yourself, for the people around you, for the world, then there is nothing you can do wrong. You just start to learn what ingredients resonate with you, like what words bring the best results, and like what it is that a spell needs in order for you to become true. And I always say that, but in my case, the most powerful spells are the ones that require like less or like nothing at all. I always say, like, you have to listen to yourself. Don't just do anything and be frustrated because it didn't work out for you, but it worked out for another person. Make witchcraft your witchcraft, and then you are really good to go. Alright, another thing I want to talk about is that you don't have to label yourself as a witch. And I know that these kind of videos became quite popular a while ago, like what type of witch you are. Like, are you a kitchen witch? Are you a house witch, and divination witch, a tarot witch, or whatever? And like, again, I'm a Virgo. I want to make sense out of everything. So if I can put something in a box and like write something, for example, I have a folder for astrology, I have a folder for tarot, then I'm happy. I'm a happy Virgo. But I feel like when it comes to labeling yourself, that can also like take away the creativity. Like, I'm so versatile. I love to be a tarot witch one day, but then I'm really into astrology the other day. And I love to dress up as a, I don't know, half gothic, half divination witch one day, but then the next day I'm really into vintage and really this kind of medieval fashion style. So I always thought that I have to label myself, I have to fit in a box, but you don't have to at all. Like, if you want to be one type of witch that day and another type of witch the other day, then by all means, and please do it, because that is the most fun to do so, in my opinion. So yeah, don't label yourself. You don't have to label yourself. You can be anything and everything that you want. So yeah, I hope that takes away the pressure, because when I started out, I really tried to fit in this box. Like, okay, I love tarot, so I'm going to be a tarot witch. But then I was like, damn, I love herbalism. I love the sea. So, you know, I love kitchen magic, but can I not just be everything? So don't label yourself, just be you, make witchcraft your witchcraft, and you are good to go, honestly. And another tip I can also give you is really go into nature. Like, let nature speak to you, connect with your inner voice. And I feel like out in nature it is so much easier to connect to your inner voice and really, yeah, just let your intuition speak to you. Like, when I go outside, then I can really calm down. I can hear things like my inner voice telling me that I was like, okay, I need an answer to that, and I didn't hear it for 5 days, and then I go out into nature, sit down and listen to the birds, and it's like, that's the answer. So really go out into nature and connect to Mother Earth, because that is, I feel like, one of the most powerful things that you can do as well. So yeah, really try to train your intuition, because that is your most powerful tool. Alright, so I put on all the moss that I have right now. I feel like I want to put a little bit more because pressing it down made it a little less fluffy. So I will take or bring the moss and I will shut down my camera for a second so it can recharge, and then we will be back in a second. Alright, so we have more moss. We also have some ivy that I want to stick on that as well. So yeah, we are good to go again. And another question that I received was if I have any tips to make witchcraft on a budget. And I feel like making witchcraft or doing witchcraft on a budget is so easy nowadays, like much easier than it was before, because there is so much information like online or in books that you have access to, that let's say you want to make a spell but you don't have ingredient A, then you can just simply make a short search and find what you could use that you already have, right? So I feel like it became a lot easier to do witchcraft on a budget. And I feel like the biggest trap when it comes to witchcraft is that you feel like you need all these fancy tools to do witchcraft, and you fall into the trap that you have to buy all of these things to do witchcraft, and I don't exclude myself from that. You don't need a lot of fancy tools. Of course, there are some things that are really helpful, like for example, if you're really drawn to fire magic and always do that in like a fireproof surrounding, then it may be useful to have a cauldron, because then you can make sure it's really safe to do the fire magic. And I just recently thrifted that really beautiful cauldron that is like, it just looks like it comes out of like medieval ages, and I thrifted it for like €5 or something. So that was something that was really helpful, because I love to make some rituals like burning things or burning incenses and stuff, but that is something that I thrifted for like €5, and I feel like that is something that a lot of people may not like, buying things secondhand or something, because they feel like there is some energy to it, or I don't know. But honestly, to me, when I cleanse it and I put intention into it and I really like smoke it with Palo Santo and cleanse it, then for me it's good to go. And I love using things that may have a history or something like that. But of course, that is something that you have to decide for yourself. But again, maybe check in what kind of rituals you want to do first before buying everything books tell you. Like I have books and they will tell you, you need this, you need that represents the elements. Like, I don't know, you need that represents all the like directions in the sky or something like that. But maybe check in what kind of magic you want to do first. Like if you want to make knot magic, then all you need is like a piece of thread that you can find cheap, even if it's like a fancier thread, because you feel like you want to put more intention into it. But then that is all that you would need. And honestly, also building up your altar is something that will naturally come, and it will naturally build up over time. Like I have been finding so many cool things recently, since I know what type of magic I want to do or what kind of witch I am, and that took like a few years. So see witchcraft really as a creative journey, as an intentional journey, and don't push yourself to have everything right now, because that takes a lot of fun from it. Like I feel like when you have been manifesting a certain tool for your practice and you find it, it's just like the best feeling ever, to be honest. So that is, I feel like, a big trap a lot of beginner baby witches fall into, like that they have to have all of that stuff in the beginning, but then later on they figure out, wait, I'm not like that type of witch, so I don't even need XYZ, right? So that is something, again, that you can save a lot of money on. And I also feel like getting things for your practice from your ancestors or your parents or something is so meaningful. Like I received a few things from my grandmother, like this is also like jewelry or something you could think about, and using these in your practice is so powerful. So again, this is not something you have to actively buy, right? If you, I don't know, receive a ring from your grandmother, then this could represent the element metal or something, and you could make that a part of your practice. So again, make witchcraft your witchcraft and really have fun with it. Just see it as an adventure, explore. It's also finding your strengths. Like when you make rituals and you find out that is not working, then maybe if I change that, then that's working suddenly, and you know, okay, then maybe my strength is like speaking the words and not just thinking them, visualizing, right? So witchcraft is a lot of fun, but you have to make it fun and don't feel like you need a lot of things to really be a powerful witch, because you already are. So yeah, that is something that really wanted to come through. And yeah, let me just quickly put that on here. And I feel like that already looks so magical, right? I love it. I think that is so easy and so much fun. So if you have the chance, I really hope you can do that, because honestly, that I feel like if it is really like hanging on the wall and you can make some mirror magic, you can like stand in front of your magical fairy portal mirror and like speak to yourself how powerful, how beautiful you are. I feel like that makes it much more easy than standing in front of like, I don't know, a normal mirror. I don't know, I just have to make everything magical and witchy in my life, and I love it. I really love it. So yeah, and I feel like I already talked a little bit about that, but if you like want to do witchcraft, check what you already have in your kitchen. Like a lot of ingredients are just sitting there waiting for you to be turned into magic. Like most people have cinnamon, right? You don't have to like buy, I don't know, cinnamon for a ritual. If you want to make a creativity ritual or a money ritual, then you have that ingredient already at home. So check in your kitchen what you need first, and again, all the information basically is available to you nowadays. You just have to make a quick research, but that is something I can highly recommend. Also check out if you have a garden, what you can use in your garden. And again, if you don't have a specific ingredient, check out what you can use instead, and don't feel like you have to stick 100% if a spell says something. Really try or learn to let your intuition speak. Like if you need rosemary in the spell but you don't have rosemary, then maybe your intuition tells you that parsley is just as good and it's like even more powerful. So that is something that you can do as well to save some money. See what is like growing in your garden, what is already in your kitchen, and also see what Mother Nature wants to gift you. Like I use so many tools that I find in my practice. Also, like I said that many times before, I'm also a shamanic practitioner. So what you will do is you basically collect things that you find that are speaking to you, and you use them in your like shamanic practice. And I can show you. All right, I found it, and that is like what I found in the forest before I had my shamanic seminar. And I didn't bring anything to that seminar. I didn't actually know what to bring, so I was just like, okay, let's see what nature gifts me. And I found that, and to me it looks like, I don't know what it is called, but you know, like not nails, but basically it looks like a part from a dragon, and I will just say nail now. But yeah, that is what I found. So that is something you could use in your practice if you are finding things outside in nature and they mean something to you. Like you can use them on your altar to represent like the elements or something like that, right? So a lot of the things that you need in your practice you can get for free, you can get as a present from Mother Nature, or you already have at home. So that is something that, yeah, I can highly recommend if you are just starting out. Again, try to find your way of witchcraft first before trying to buy a lot of fancy things, and then in the end you don't really need them. So yeah, that is a big tip that I have for baby witches. Alright, and my camera died, so we are going to work from here. So yeah, I don't have a second battery pack yet, But yeah, basically try to find things that you can upcycle as well. I personally love upcycling. I think there's nothing better than finding something, adding some magic to it and make it my kind of magic, you know, and like putting my individual touch to the things. So try to find something that you can basically upcycle, and by that you anyway save a lot of money, right? Let's say you want to make, I don't know, or you have a piece of cloth and you can make your cloak from it, right? So that is a beautiful way to give witchcraft your individual touch, by turning a piece of cloth into a meaningful friend for your adventures in the forests. So that is something I personally love doing, that I can highly recommend as well. Or you could also see what kind of things you already have at home you can turn into something. For example, journals are really expensive. I feel like the cost for a journal that is like looking fancy and magical is really a lot nowadays. So what I personally love doing, and I recently started doing it, is making my own paper, making my own journal. So that is something you could do as well. And you see, by these kind of things, it's like giving witchcraft your personal touch and having fun, while at the same time putting so much more intention into it. And I feel like that is already making your practice so powerful. So these are just a few tips that I can recommend how to work on a budget. I hope they help, because I know it can be overwhelming, especially if you are like me and you find a million things interesting and you make it your hobby to start new hobbies, and then you have a million hobbies and you have not then like time to pursue all of them, and it's also getting really expensive to pursue all of them. So make it easy on yourself, or try to make it more easy, and yeah, try to just have fun with witchcraft. I feel like that's like one thing that I really want to highlight, is have fun. Yeah, I really hope it helps. I hope it takes some of the pressure from you if you want to start witchcraft, but you feel like it could be too expensive or something like that. Because I know nowadays, obviously, you have like all the opportunities, you have all the accessibility to actually buy what you want. And yeah, I'm not excluding myself from that, because I know when I started out with tarot, I needed like 10 tarot decks a month, because I saw that on YouTube, and then I wanted that deck, and then the next day I saw that deck. So it got really expensive until I found out all I need is one deck to really connect myself with, to really bond with. And yeah, that's basically a learning lesson. So yeah, give yourself time to develop your own kind of witchcraft. I feel like it's the same with fashion, right? You develop your own sense of style over time, and at some point you may not even want to buy any new trends, because you just don't give a beep about all the new trends, because you found what you love and what brings you joy and passion. So yeah, I feel like that is really important, and that wanted to come through. So I'm going to glue more moss where I feel like there's not enough moss. And yeah, then finally, and I'm running out of questions, we are going to glue on the feathers, the flowers, and I have more flowers here as well. I bought some of these dried flowers to glue them on top as well. But yeah, with that being said, let's finish that moss part, and then let's get into the flower part. So another question is what my favorite crystal is, and I really love amethyst and labradorite. And I feel like labradorite is like my absolute most favorite, because no matter from what angle you look at it, it always looks different. So that is so fascinating to me. And yeah, if I had to choose, I think it would definitely be labradorite. And I also really love citron. I I feel like citron is also a really beautiful crystal. When I think about it, I feel like the most crystal, or like the crystals that I'm drawn to the most, are crystals that are like purple or golden or green, or like in that case of labradorite, it's like this really beautiful midnight blue. So yeah, I feel like these are my favorite crystals. And let me think, is there any other crystal? I also really love smoky quartz, so that is a crystal I love as well. But yeah, if I had to choose one crystal for the rest of my life, it would be labradorite, basically. So yeah. Alright, another question that I received was what I love doing outside of YouTube. And I have a lot of hobbies, or like things that I love. Again, I'm a Virgo. I love studying herbalism, astrology, like all the witchcraft stuff. Obviously, I love witchcraft. I also really love to learn languages and kind of other cultures, or learning about other cultures. And let me see what else. I really love thrifting. Like, that is a hobby I started last year, basically. I feel like thrifting is like the best thing in the world, like just immersing yourself into history, into like, I don't know, another part, or like another time, basically. So that is something I really love doing. What else? I really love music. So when I was younger, I was learning instruments, and I would really love to get back into like the piano or the violin. And I just recently wanted to practice the violin and like learn it, and I tried it myself because my boyfriend is a musician as well. He studied classical music in Korea, like he's from Korea. So that is something I would love to do. But right now the time is just not working in my favor, basically. I also really love reading, and I love vintage, I love history, I love sewing. So these are the things I love doing, and obviously I'm trying to combine all of them in YouTube, or like in my channel. And that's basically why I love YouTube, because I can combine everything that I love in this YouTube journey. And that is why I have been wanting to start my own YouTube channel for like, I don't know, 10 years, but I was always too afraid. But I also didn't really find my passion yet. And I feel like that is something that is really important, like before you are trying to, I don't know, manifest wealth and these kind of things. Manifest your passion, because once you found out what your passion is, it's so easier to manifest all of the rest, because you have like this fire burning inside of you to follow your dreams. So that is something I can highly recommend. To find your passion if you didn't already. To find your passion first, basically. But yeah, this is basically what I'm doing most of the time. So the thing is, I'm still working full time as a marketing manager right now. So it's pretty time consuming to do all of that while I'm still working 40 hours a week, or like even more. So that is why I really want to focus on my YouTube that year and really get it running, and just really get full time on YouTube. That is my biggest dream and goal. But yeah, that is basically what I love doing outside of YouTube. But again, I feel like it's all kind of immersing or like kind of overlapping, because I'm doing all of the things simultaneously while doing YouTube. So that is a lot of fun. Wait, I found another one. I love photography and like obviously filmmaking. So that is a dream of mine as well. Once I have like YouTube going full time, I really want to get into videography, or like cinematography, I think it is called, and really study and learn how to make better videos, how to create better content. So that is a dream of mine as well. So these are basically the things I'm doing outside of YouTube. That is so pretty. I really hope you can try that as well. Like, that is so much fun. And even though you feel like maybe you are not good at DIYs or something like that, that DIY is so easy, and I feel like there's no chance that it will not look good once you finish it. So I hope you give it a try.